Hello.
Hello, how you going?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good. We got Locke here as well.
Hey, Locke. How are you?
Just having dinner. How are you?
It's I'm good. Your house is a lot quieter than mine.
Our kids go to bed very, very early.
Yeah. Nice.
They do wake up very early though. So.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. Yep. Very good. Cool. So, and how have you both been? Had a nice weekend?
Yeah, just surviving, Bronte. Just surviving. The bar is low.
You're here. You're here.
Yes, exactly. We are. It's a priority.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy that you're both here.
Yeah.
And really looking forward to this course. Actually, it is very exciting. It's all landing. We're here. We're doing this.
Yeah. Well, 2 years in the making, didn't you say?
3 actually.
3. Yeah.
Yeah. So I met Hanika in 2019, and she had been working with KI, or the version before KI was Ally, the Living Inquiry. So she's been doing it for quite a long time, and she was working with kids who were being bullied at school. So we hit it off straight away from that conversation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You need to do something.
Yep. And then Phil as well has come on board, and it's really lovely to work so in sync with within a team.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Even though you're on opposite sides of the world.
I know. Yeah. Which has worked out really well, because we've got time zones in Australia, Europe, and America.
Yeah.
So awesome. It feels very fitting. Yeah. So here's Alana. We'll just wait for a bit for hopefully a few more people will join. There's probably about 8, I think, that are from Australia. So we might just wait a few minutes just to see if we can get a group of us before we kind of start. So if you want to use this space you've probably already got your cuppas and everything, but yeah.
Perfect. Who's that in the background, Bronte?
Can you hear our background?
I don't know, maybe it was a different background.
Oh, was that you, Alana?
Might have been.
Oh, you're on mute there.
I might have to bring my baby to class.
Yeah, absolutely welcome.
He's crying. I might have to go get him. Hang on 1 second.
Sounds good. Yeah. And the timing's, tricky, but I thought if I make it any later, then I'll be falling asleep halfway through our sessions.
Yeah, so were we. We were already saying we don't know if we'll be able to stick it out. But yeah, they're all recorded, aren't they?
They're all recorded, yeah. So, and today's one is really, a nice, gentle, as much as I want to be like this and this, and I want to show you all the things. Today's really just a landing session, just to meet and greet and connect and find that sense of safety and community. And but all of them will be recorded, so even if you guys stay for the first hour and then watch the replay for the second half, then that's welcome as well.
When we said early starts for us, our Ivy is starting at 4:20 every
wow. Yeah, that is early. That's really early.
Yeah, it's still nighttime.
Yep, it is. Yes. Yeah.
Hopefully in 2 weeks' time we will have settled, found a new routine. But
yes. Well, you're in the right place, I want to say.
Yes.
Yeah, really happy to offer as much support as we can throughout the next 4 months.
Yeah, thanks, Bronte.
And how are you, Lan? It's like I know you, and we've never. We're not even meeting in person, but at least we're on the same Zoom call.
Yes. I knew I would work with you one day.
Yeah.
I think that's sort of where it all comes from. I'm good. My eldest had a tooth out today.
Oh.
So we were at the dentist for 2 hours trying to convince him to get it done.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So
that's a big day.
Yeah. So we've had a big day.
Mm-hmm.
And then a bit of a meltdown afterwards.
Yep.
Lots of defiance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I watched the replay of your free webinar.
Yes.
And I've been trying my hardest to like implement like things, just little things that you said. I was like, oh my God, like when I say calm down all the time to them.
Yeah.
And I was thinking like, how do I react when someone tells me to calm down? Even if I'm don't have a big feeling.
Yeah.
Instant anger. And so like instantly like, well, so I thought, well, no wonder, they're not reacting to that. And so I've been doing my best to like stop saying that, but I found myself saying it a lot today, and I was met with like complete like no's.
Yes.
Stamping feet situation. And I was like, I'm out of line, so he's out of line. Like it takes a lot of effort, but I've been putting in the effort most days. And some days you just sort of can't. It's just emotionally depleting. But on the days that I do, I notice they all seem to get their needs met, and they do cooperate better.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. That's huge. And I want to say messy and perfect in the mess, because I think my experience has shown me that, like, I can agree with you that we can feel so resourced some days where we have it all and we can meet their needs and we can hold space for them. And then there's other days when we're, we've got our own stuff coming up. We just don't have anything left, and we snap and we use the consequence and we say, calm down. And even when we know that that's, and, Hanukkah and Phil and I, we really want to provide a space where we can just be human, and we don't have to kind of reach these parenting perfectionistic goals. And we can soften and trust that our kids will be okay. And even the fact that you guys are here just shows how much, you're willing to put in for your kids. So it's all welcome.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, like, we have to look after our emotions first, and like it is a lot of effort to put in. But if we aren't doing that, the effort that we put into our day is actually tenfold, and it's like full of anxiety, and it's full of frustration, and it's full of other big feelings which are harder to cope with. So I feel like it's definitely worth it, especially I've got a whole little tribe here. I need it. And one of them's about to be 2, and he's already started acting like a 2-year-old. So it's full on over here.
It would be, because you've got 3 boys and a step son. Is that right?
Yeah.
So four boys.
All up.
Wow. Big. Yeah. Well, let's just get started. So, Lan, you've just done a bit of an intro there, and Penny, would you like to share about your girls and where you're at?
Yeah, so we have Ellie, who's 6, and Ivy, who's 3, and it's like having 2 feisty teenagers in the house at the moment. There's lots of eye rolling and so much defiance. A very neurodivergent household. So we've got Ellie, who's autistic, and Ivy, who we suspect is, and I've just been diagnosed myself. And then there's Locke over here just trying to hold it together. So a lot of fiery girls in this house. And I think I'm well across. I fell into the gentle parenting stuff really early on, and so a lot of this parenting stuff is really familiar to me, but actually implementing it and learning to feel my own feelings and manage my own feelings is really key for me. But also I'm really good at supporting the girls' feelings, and then I just smash Locke with his, like I just can't handle Locks at all. So he gets triggered by the kids and I get triggered by him,
Mhm.
and it's just this roundabout. So we're trying to break that.
Yeah, beautiful. I love that you've joined a course like this. Yeah, and feel free to share too, Lock, in a sec. But I really like that you've joined for each other as well.
Yeah.
And so much can come from, and I will speak more about KI and what it actually is, but so much can come, so much can change in even adult relationships with using something like KI. So it's not just all about the kids. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Locke, how are you engaged in KI for parents and children? What are you looking forward to?
I feel like you can read all the books in the world, and you know, some of this stuff about emotion coaching and being there for people, it's not that hard, but then actually doing it is hard. Like you read about it and like, that makes perfect sense. And someone says to me to calm down, it makes me get my back up and get defensive. But then in the cut and thrust or the heat of the moment, it's just so hard. I find, or I want to work on just catching it and working through it, and just actually committing to put time into doing it is, I think, really important.
Yep.
But also just unlearning how I was parented.
Yes.
You know, I tended to just fall into what I knew, which was, family life was good as a kid. It was okay. Like there was certainly no vulnerabilities or disadvantages or anything like that. But like your emotions were just pushed away. You weren't heard and you weren't seen and you weren't really that supported. Like you were, but not in a safe way, I suppose.
Yes. 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 I'm hearing you on all of that, and I think, you know, typically we've all had that childhood where there was love and support and care, but no actual understanding or those, our parents didn't have the tools to look after themselves, let alone look after our emotions. And then we as parents, this is why we're here. We're learning to process our own thoughts and feelings, so then we can hold the space for our children.
Yeah, that's right.
Lovely. Hey, Chrissy, it's good to have you here. We're just doing some intros here. So yeah, this might, I guess, while Chrissy's finding a space, I'll just do a short intro just so we've got a little bit of formality to this. So welcome to our first group call for KI for Parents and Children. It's such a pleasure and a blessing, and I'm very thrilled and excited to be here. It's very exciting to offer these set of tools to parents and children. The desire and the kind of my heartfelt connection to this is that if I knew these tools when I was 15, things would have been a little bit different for me. And that's not to, it's okay that I had depression for 22 years. I'm quite okay with that now. It's got great purpose in life. But it's also really lovely to offer this space for anyone who's struggling with parenting. I mean, I know myself, I struggle with parenting, and I'm running this course. So it's like, we don't have to be, this is not all about, finding the perfect answer. It's just knowing some really amazing tools that you can support yourself with, and then you can support your child or your children with as well. So yeah, I'd like to acknowledge the Dja Dja Wurrung speaking people of the Kulin Nation for tending to this gorgeous land that I call home, which is Bendigo in Victoria. And I'd like to acknowledge all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders for having such a beautiful connection to the spirit of the land and living in harmony with nature. And I think part of what we do here in KI for Parents and Children is coming back to the simplicity of life, returning back to ourselves and feeling that sense of fulfillment and satisfaction from within. I know for me, a big part of it has been learning how to slow down. And like when I realized all the science behind all of this, I realized, gosh, if I want to provide the space that my kids really need, that requires me to let go of my perceived necessary goals in life, and you know, that external validation, to actually come back and find the beauty that's right in front of me and also within me, and we can find a deep sense of fulfillment from within ourselves and our connection with our kids, rather than perhaps busying ourselves with all of the things that we think we need to attain externally. And yeah, so I want to honor Mother Earth herself for always supporting us. You'll learn all about the nervous system and the science behind trauma. And you know, whenever you're struggling, you can always go out to nature. You can always, like, the amount of times I have taken the kids for a walk just to co-regulate with nature. if your partner's doing your head in, or your loved ones or your kids are doing your heads in, you've always got nature. You know, then they're not going to tell you to calm down. Nature's not going to tell you to calm down. So that's yeah, I wanted to honor the earth here. So a big part of this work here is to practice a sense of presence and mindfulness, and we're going to show you how to be masters at being mindful with the big feelings and the big thoughts. And so for those moments where you feel like this is just too much, and I know in theory all those parenting books are telling me to do this thing, but I just don't have it in me, what I have found is that it's a gradual process. It's not a, okay, you're going to do this course and everything's going to be perfect. I don't think any of you guys have that idea. But it seems as though, for me, I've experienced less frequent yelling and the yelling doesn't last as long. There's also like a quicker move from reaction to response. And there's also more space between, you know, one of the kids melting down or whatever the trigger is and my response. And again, that's not to say that, you know, there's perfection in every single moment either. So that's one of the things that I have gained from this work. So when this space, KI for Parents and Children, is a safe community for you to practice being yourself with your thoughts and feelings. So this is not well, you know, I know what it's like to join a group, and it can be a little bit nerve-wracking and scary, and we're trying to fit in, and there's this, perhaps some authority comes in and we feel like we have to please the teacher. And then, yeah, there's lots of thoughts and feelings that come up. So what we're here to do is we're here to practice connecting and noticing and being curious with your own thoughts and feelings, and listening to your needs as a parent, and then also doing the same thing for your child. So your child too has thoughts and feelings and has needs. And what we're focused on here is living in a way where we can all get our needs met. So everyone's on the same level. There is no hierarchy. That doesn't mean that you can't like put in boundaries and take control of a situation, but it means that every single person in the family has needs, and it is our job as the parent to help our children have those needs met. So part of this work is to learn how to hold space for ourselves as we hold space for each other. So, and you'll learn all about that if that's new language for you. But essentially, it's creating a safe space for us to be ourselves. And then we're creating a safe space for each other within this community to be themselves. And then we're creating a safe space for our children to be themselves. Again, that doesn't mean that we have no boundaries and we have no rules, or like particularly in an online learning environment like this, aggressive communication towards others isn't appropriate. Considering practicing compassion and non-judgment is a strong invitation here. Learning, listening to what others are saying with gentle, compassionate ears is welcome. And a big one that I'm always advocating is not giving advice to each other without having first received permission. The reason why I ask that is because we're very quick, we're very in our society and our culture that we live in, we don't like pain, we don't like seeing others in pain, so we're great at fixing others. And in the process, we can squash the space for each other to find our own answers. So what we do here is we're creating a space for each of us to find our own answers, because we really are our best guides. You are your children's best guide, and so we're just here supporting you, kind of like you're the rock climber, we're the spotters. We're just supporting you and, you know, giving you different tools that you could use to, you know, do whatever rock climbers do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. So this space that I'm putting in between what I'm saying it's an invitation for myself to not feel like I have to fill the void, and it's also an invitation for you to come and notice what's happening in your body. Okay, so we will be practicing lots of natural rest. We call it natural rest in KI, but it's essentially basic mindfulness, and it's the essence of our being. That sounds a bit, you know, that perhaps that's not easy to connect with, but it's our true nature. It's our true nature. Even though we look outside the world, it doesn't really appear to be our true nature. You'll learn that the nervous system, when you learn about the nervous system, you'll see that the way that our culture is, and the majority of how people are living, is we're living in a state of protection. And what we're moving towards, and what you'll be learning in this course, is to move into a state of connection. So out of a state of protection into a state of connection. And you can really only do that through safety, and through that safety, you can come back to that place of natural rest. All right. So Alana and Penny and Locke have all shared. Chrissy, are you? And actually, I didn't share one other piece that I like to always offer in communities like this, is that sharing is optional. Anytime you don't want to share, you don't have to. Don't feel like you have to jump on. You know, you can actually just tune in. Sometimes you'll want to share, other times you'll feel a little bit nervous but want to share. Other times you just won't want to share. Other times you may not even want your video on, and that's all welcome. Other times you may not even want to jump on the call, you just want to watch the replay. So this is all, you know, there's a spectrum of how you engage here. These are all invitations. So but yeah, this being the first call, I also do like I think there's a sense of safety that can come from when people join communities like this and they know who they're talking to. So it's been nice to share from Lan and Penny and Locke. And yeah, Chrissy, would you like to jump on and introduce yourself and share a little bit about, is it Dylan? I can't hear you there, Chrissy. You're off mute, which is a good sign. No, I can't hear you. Could you try, sometimes this works, if you go out of the Zoom room and then come back in? Beautiful. Any shares, comments, reflections so far?
Not yet. It just sounds what we're looking for.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Lovely. Yeah, good. And yeah, so I want these calls to be as practical as possible. So bring your questions, and we'll have time tonight as well if you have burning questions about, you know, how best to support whatever you're dealing with in your home. Then we want them to be as practical. These calls to be as practical as possible for those questions to be answered as well. Just checking messages here because there are quite a few Aussies that are not on the call, but that's okay. So we'll just see if Chrissy can jump on, otherwise we can move on. How'd you go, Chrissy? Still no. No. Okay. I'm not sure why. Well, you might just like to use the Facebook group, Chrissy, just to do a post or a video if you're feeling brave. It's your laptop. Yeah. Okay, cool. But it's Dylan, isn't it? So Chrissy, you've joined. Yeah, you've joined with Dylan in mind. Yep. Beautiful. All right. So I look forward to you being able to share next time. Beautiful. All right, so I'll give you a quick rundown, a practical thing of how this course is going to look. So you've got 8 modules. You've all received the welcome email. The actual course is in Teachable. Hanneke is amazing with the back end stuff. So if you didn't have a Teachable account, she's made you a Teachable account with a password, which you will have in your email. And it's really great. You get that amazing feedback. It'll tell you when you've done, you know, module 1, you've gone through 13% of the course. It feels really good. So yeah, and it's like Phil mentions in the course that it's non-linear. So you could just do, you know, module, you don't have to necessarily do it in order. We've tried to do it as kind of progressive as possible. It's also drip fed, so you've only got module 1, and then in a week or 2 we'll give you access to module 2. So the reason being, just to give you some integration time, this is not designed to be an intensive course where you just learn all the stuff and study hard and then you're done. This is, we've designed this to go over the 4 months because we really do want to create change. And similar to what you were saying, Lan, like it kind of can look like things, you know, things are amazing, and then it might look like the wheels are falling off. And so we really want that time to support you, because like what you were saying, Locke, it is about unlearning. So it might feel like you know everything and then you know nothing. But having something like KI will help you process that. And so a big part of this course, and this is what I'm most passionate about, and I will share pieces with you tonight because I can't wait for you guys to get started with this, is to be able to process your own thoughts and feelings. Because when you can process your own thoughts and feelings, you're going to be in a space where you can actually provide support for your child. So when you don't process your own thoughts and feelings, then you come with your stuff, with your baggage, and then we start splaying that out onto our kids. And then that's where the enmeshment comes. You know, the complex trauma comes, and this is not overly, what's the word? Like, I'm not exaggerating. This is, you know, we're all experiencing development. We've all experienced developmental trauma. We're all experiencing a level of complex trauma because we've all got trauma. And as a former teacher, we didn't get taught how to teach our kids how to process their own thoughts and feelings. Like, the fact that you guys are here is amazing to learn how to process your own thoughts and feelings. So you will have come across that we have the 5 steps to ease your child's raging emotions, anxiety, and depression. And the first step is we say to let go of your own thoughts and feelings. But what I want to make clear tonight is letting go of thoughts and feelings is the goal. But to be able to let go of your own thoughts and feelings, you need to process them. You actually need to welcome them, and we show you how to do that in a safe way using the 4 skills that are in module 1. So when we say, you know, let go of your thoughts and feelings as the first step of the 5 steps, that does not mean to distract yourself or ignore those thoughts and feelings. Actually, what you want to do is create the space for to process that. Now, what you're doing there is you're resolving your own childhood trauma, because all of these triggers that you're experiencing with your kids is they're just like turning the buttons on. I'm not good enough. I'm bad. I'm wrong. There's something wrong with me. I'm unlovable. I'm unwanted. It's just like switch, switch, switch. They are it's like they are pushing a button. They are actually pushing, like they're going, I'm unlovable, you know, there's something wrong with me. I'm unwanted. It's that. It is. So now the way to resolve that, so that you're not, you know, triggered so much, and it does fall away over time. The way to do that is to use compassion and acceptance. So I'll just show you how this, you know, this is kind of KI 101. So you've all, the 3 of you here, I know, have some level of awareness from various ways, like through my book and workshops and stuff. But for those of you who are watching the replay, KI it stands for the Killaby Inquiries, and it's a set of advanced mindfulness or self-inquiry tools. So Scott Killaby is one of the founders of KI, and he realized that thoughts and feelings could be broken down into 3 things: words, pictures, and body sensations. So the words and pictures are in your head. They're your thoughts, words and pictures. So they're just words and pictures. And then the body sensations are the feelings, are your emotions. So you know how we can get all swept up and life is so painful and my kids are doing my head in and I just can't do this anymore and I wish they would stop doing that, and if only they stopped doing that, and you know, if they just went to school, and all this is words, pictures, and body sensations. So one of the key concepts that we use is titration. So titration is where you just look, it's a therapeutic concept where we just look at one piece of the experience at a time. So rather than being overwhelmed by I'm a bad parent, or my kid's not going to make it, or whatever it is, we can start to be mindful and curious with our temporary experience, which are words, pictures, and body sensations. So, and it's called the Velcro effect. So you'll see the words and pictures. This is what makes up a thought. So the words could be, I'm a horrible parent. And then the picture could be, you have just slammed your child's fingers in the door, in the car door. I'm not sure if that's a really bad example. That's just what came. And then the body sensations could be like heat in your chest, or maybe it's red in the face, or maybe it's tingles down the arms, or maybe it's a pulling in your stomach. So this is how practical we want you to get. We want you to start describing what's happening in your body, because the more that you do that, the more you'll get out of your head, and the more that you'll be able to be mindful of what's happening in your experience. So you'll start to watch the thoughts. We'll show you how to watch the thoughts, and we'll show you how to watch or notice your feelings. And when you do that, it's almost like you step out of the experience and you're noticing what's happening, rather than you're in it and this is horrible. So using KI, we befriend the thought first, and surprisingly, magically, it's amazing, it falls away. So the top layer of the Velcro has fallen away. And then you've just got body sensations left. So this is just emotions. And when we come to the body, we start to feel the feelings. And when we feel, it actually feels really good, surprisingly. As much as emotions have had a really bad rap, they actually feel amazing when you can actually just simply be with your feelings. If we came to the body with the thoughts, it can be painful. So if you tried to, especially when you're starting out, if you tried to feel the feelings of being a bad parent, then it would probably feel very excruciating or painful or uncomfortable. But by taking the words and pictures away first, you're just left with body sensations. So this is how we resolve trauma, and this is how you process thoughts and feelings. This is how you move into the space to be able to self-regulate, so you can co-regulate, hold space for your child, and then show them how to do it, how for them how to process their own thoughts and feelings. Does that make sense? Who has questions?
A bit hard to conceptualize.
Mm-hmm.
I need to practice it.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah. Lan?
Oh, sorry. No, I was just.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to give you an example tonight.
That's good.
Would that be nice? Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
Cool. Mm-hmm. Any other questions or comments before I do that? Alrighty. Okay, cool. So, and I've kind of dived in a bit here. I've kind of skipped a step around what's your intention, what are your goals, why did you join? But we're here now, and this is what we're doing. But yeah, so Penny and Locke, if you do leave, are you kind of planning to leave at 8:30?
I'm doing okay at the moment. We'll
Okay.
see how we go.
Yeah. So all right, I'll swing back to that later. So
Yeah.
to give you guys something to start with, I'll share with you about the boomerang. So the boomerang, if you can think about, the boomerang will help you get to the root of any challenge that you have. So if you can think about life as a boomerang, so a boomerang is something that you throw and it comes back to you. So the boomerang is almost like your self-beliefs. So our whole perception of our lives comes from our self-beliefs, the beliefs that we have created and formed about ourselves and about the world. So that includes positive beliefs, negative beliefs, and everything in between. So when you think of a situation, have a think about something that you're struggling with at the moment with your kids or within your family unit. And the boomerang question is to ask yourself, if that situation was to mean something about me, or if that situation was to mean something about life, what would that be? So just say that again. And I'll give you some time to think about what that would be. So think about a situation that's a challenge right now, and then ask yourself, and I might actually guide you just through a short mindfulness practice, natural rest practice, because this self-inquiry is not a chatty analytical, well, it could be this or it could be that, and that thing happened the other day, and chatty. Self-inquiry is it's spacious, it's quiet, and we're noticing what arises, that it's probably hidden because most of this is repressed stuff, repressed thoughts and feelings. It's not like we walk around and go, well, if someone asks you, how are you? It's not like you are so authentic and connected with the deeper stuff that you go, well, this morning I felt unwanted, and then I saw someone and they reminded me of this memory where I felt like a loser at school. And we don't talk about the deeper stuff. But what we want to do in this, we actually want to get really truthful with, what is this story? What is this actually saying about me? What am I making this mean about me? So I'll guide you through a couple of minutes of natural rest. And then I'm going to ask you to think about something that you're struggling with, you're challenged by with your child. And then I'm going to pose that question, the boomerang. Okay. All right. So feel free to close your eyes if that feels good for you. Otherwise, you can just find a place for your eyes to be downcast. Start to take some slow, deep breaths. Notice where you can feel breathing happening in your body. So that could be in your chest or your abdomen, your throat or your nostrils. Just picking one spot and noticing with a sense of curiosity, as if you've never felt these sensations that come with this breathing. Now start to feel the air temperature on your face. So noticing if it's warm or cool or something in between. Check in to see if there's a scent or an odor in the air. Noticing if this air is stagnant or fresh or somewhere in the middle. Now, putting your attention on the space in front of your body. Now, finding the space behind your body. Now, putting your attention on the space to the left of your body. And now to the right of your body. Where's the space to the right of your body? And above, you'll find space above your head. There's also space below your body, even if it's through the ground. Now, start to bring your attention to the sensations in your body. So that could be warmth, pressure, tightness, hard bits, heavy bits. Open parts. Tingles. Without trying to change or shift or fix anything here. Is there space to allow these sensations to be just as they are? Now, as you think about the thing that's really challenging you with your child, it's noticing what pictures are coming up, what words might be coming through your mind, and perhaps particular body sensations that are arising. Now, if that situation meant something about you, if that was to say something about you, something negative, or something about life in general, what would that be? So noticing what arises, and feel free to write it down if it comes, when it comes. And this process of asking questions, this is what inquiry is. It's almost like you're throwing out a fishing line with this question, and then you're just noticing and watching to see what arises. And it might be a clear self-belief, or perhaps it's a set of words. Perhaps it's a memory. Perhaps it's, perhaps it's something you can hear, a set of words you can hear. So if that was to say something about you, what would that be? Or if that was to say something about life, what would that be? Like it could just be, life's too hard. And coming back when you're ready and feel free to share if you'd like to.
So what came up for me, I just pictured my son yelling at me today, and just that whole like feeling of defiance and that feeling that I feel when all of these things go on. And I came up with I'm not heard, no one takes me seriously, and what I say is unimportant. And I just had like an image of like my mum and my dad and my sister. Like I don't even know if it's happened, but like we were in our old house like when I was little, and just like sort of without words, like that whole vibe of like whatever I say is like not believed, or it's just not important. And I never was believed as a kid. I was like the naughty one, and my sister was the good one. And even when she would do something wrong, she'd go, "Oh, it was Lan," and I would instantly, like without hesitation, like it would be, they would believe what she said. It didn't happen all the time. It probably only happened like 3 or 4 times in my whole life. But it was just like when when that happened, that feeling that I already felt like no one believes what I say, or like no one cares what I have to say, that was just really reinforced. Yeah. And I do feel that with my kids a lot. Even my toddler who doesn't like speak yet, he's only, almost 2. When I say something, it's just like no one listens. Sometimes they dead set look me in the eye, even my 7-year-old, and they just does like the complete opposite, or as if I didn't speak. And then dad comes home and he goes, and they all to attention. And I just sit there and I'm like, I do everything for you all day, every day. And like, why am I not worth listening to? And the same people I know in your free webinar, I said, don't lecture. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. But like, I have sat with my son over so many issues and been like, this is why, and like, this is what can happen, and whatever about whatever it is. And I can have other people like my partner or like even my mum have the same conversation with him. And he's just like, oh, and I even said to him, like, why do you believe it when Nanny says it? Who do you think taught Nan to be a mum? Who do you think taught me to be a mum? Like Nan. So I've learned this off her, so that that's definitely on point for me.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. So you've got a lot there. You've got a lot of words. So Lan, it's beautiful to express it verbally. It really depends on the person. So like I can relate to everything that you've said. I really like the way that you could feel that. Is it like a sense of powerlessness or just unvalidated when?
Yeah, just very unvalidated in my experience.
Yeah. But those very words that you came up with are the words to look at and the feelings to feel, and also those pictures, right? So those pictures of your mum and dad and sister are those very, very moments that are a part of your developmental trauma, which is when you decided, I'm not worth hearing. Or I'm not heard, or I'm not valid, or I'm not acknowledged, whatever it is. I'm not worth listening to. So the deficiency stories are all of these. Like I'm not heard, I'm not valued, I'm not worth listening to. Everything that you've just said. So what I would recommend is just doing some journaling and then highlighting the deficiency stories. That's what we call them, the negative sense of self, the negative beliefs, because they are telling us that we're deficient in some kind of way. They're the ones to look at. So if you really want to get to the crux of your own healing, you go straight to the deficiency stories. Yeah. So beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Chrissy, you can't share. Pen or Locke, would either of you like to share what you came up with, or what came up for you? Oh, you're on mute there.
There we go. We're back.
Mhm.
Yeah, Locke saying no.
I can relate to a lot of what was said just about not necessarily feeling like you're valued by your kids, feeling like you're needed by them, but you're not wanted. They don't want you to be there. They just need you to do stuff for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you, Locke. And it's like day in, day out, we're doing everything for them. Yeah. 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 It's not easy. And then what we're doing is, we're learning how to parent ourselves, actually. Like a lot of, I run another program called Beyond Belief, and it's for not necessarily for parents, but a lot of the time I'm talking about how can we parent ourselves, because our parents aren't coming. No one's coming. It's like not even our partners are coming necessarily. It's like it's our job, and we've never been taught. This is why we're really shitty at it. but this is great now that we're learning. These are the tools to show to use to hold a sense of love and compassion, and a sense of acknowledgement for ourselves. So I'll tell you a quick story. It's not parent related, but one of my clients just did a TED talk recently. Massive deal, just one of her lifetime goals. And she knew that as soon as she'd done the TED talk, she was driving home, and she knew that as soon as she went inside, the first question that she would be asked is, what are we having for dinner? And so she took the time to pull over and to wrap her hands around her arms and hold a sense of love and compassion and acknowledgement for herself, because she knew she wasn't going to get that from other people. And part of this work also too is to realize that perhaps our parents, we're not ever going to receive what we really want and yearn and crave for from our parents. And this is, it's a process of healing to really to come to realize that we can actually offer this for ourselves. And it does take consciousness and physical, you'll learn lots of, in the nervous system part, lots of techniques that will actually help you feel connected to yourself, so you can hold that space for yourself and have that need met. And when your needs are met, then you're resourced for your kids. And and that's such a gift to offer that for your children. Yeah, rather than us running on empty, we're feeling full. We're feeling more full. Yeah. How does that land, Locke? Beautiful. Thank you. And Pen, did you want to share?
Yeah, I just want to add firstly how hard it was for me to kind of hold the words back when Locke just said he felt unvalued and unwanted by the kids. Every single bit of me just wanted to say, oh, but they do love you. They do want you.
Yeah.
And I just thought about that fixing thing you mentioned before. Held the words in. But yeah, it's an automatic thing.
Yeah.
I find that challenging. I find it difficult to slow the chatter, which Locke would understand. I was thinking today about not being able to get Ellie in the shower and the bath, and she was covered in mud from the sandpit, and she's wearing filthy brown clothes that she's been sleeping in for 4 days. It's been maybe 10 days since her last shower, 3 weeks since we washed her hair, and I just couldn't get her in there. And I was so frustrated, and she was filthy, and it all just centered around that sense of failure. I can't even wash my kid. And then there's the judgment stuff. What are other people going to think? And then I think today I was more just like, oh, now you're going to go and wipe your dirty feet all over the couches, the carpets, the bed. And I spend all my time cleaning, and that's why I never get to play with you. And yeah, so there was a lot of chatter.
Yep.
And I had a bit of trouble tapping into actually what I was feeling at that point. But I noticed a bit of sort of heat around the shoulders at one point. But yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Penny. Again, there's a lot, right? And there's so many, so much. When we talk about this, there are lots of thoughts and there are lots of feelings, and we call that the Velcro effect, when the thoughts and feelings are stuck. So would you like some tools, Pen, around the chattiness?
Definitely. I mean, chattiness as well. Yeah, the mental chatter. Yeah. Ellie and I were even talking about that today. I was asking her if she has an internal voice, because mine's always singing and talking and never shuts up.
Yeah. So one key thing that I'll give you tonight, and I'll go and replay some other stuff that I've shared in another program to support you, but one of them is to let the thought stream go. So we call it a thought stream. Everyone has it. You may have it more often. The thought stream, it's almost like it's a stream of thoughts. So the more we try and stop the thoughts, the worse it really gets. So actually allowing the thought stream to come is helpful, rather than like trying to stop thinking. And then what you're looking for, Pen, is, and this goes for everyone, is to notice the words that have the most charge. So you might have lots of words, but what's the one that's kind of really grabbing you or pulling you? And it might not be a deficiency story like I'm a failure. It could be like, I can't even get her in the shower, right? The deficiency story kind of theoretically would be probably I can't do it, or I can't. But if the words, get her into the shower, are the words that want to be seen the most, then we go with that. Yeah. That's probably a little bit, further on down the track, but just plant that for now.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah, cool. Beautiful. How's all that landing? Chrissy, any sign language you can offer there? Oh, good. Mixed. Yeah, might be. I'm not sure what that means. Maybe you could use the chat box. That might be helpful if you'd like to engage in that way, Chrissy. All right, so would you guys like to see a bit of a model, an example of what processing your own and letting go of your own thoughts and feelings might look like?
Yep.
All right. All right, so I'm just going to find and move myself into that place of natural rest and find the thing that's calling my attention most with my kids. All right, so what's coming up is just checking the door is shut. Yeah. Okay, so what's coming up for me is a picture of my son, and we had friends over, and there's this, like, he just didn't know what to play with. He didn't know how to play, with the boy who was over. And yeah, this is quite painful to actually verbalize. So much so that I'm not even going to say it aloud, just to completely ensure that this is not shared in my home. Okay, so that's my interpretation. That's what's come up, my kind of filter, the story that matches this picture. Okay, so I've got the picture of him and I've got the those words. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to imagine that I have a movie screen in front of my eyes here, and I'm going to put those words up on the screen so I can see how they're written. And I can also see in that picture, it's almost like I'm shooting that picture up onto that movie screen, and I'm using my fingers here to create a frame around the words and the picture, so I can see that the words and the picture is inside the frame. Now, stuff like this will help you stay focused. So there's method in the madness here. Okay, you might be able to say, yeah, I can see the screen, but actually doing that helps you stay focused. Now, when I look above the screen, above the frame, I'll see space where there's no picture and no words up there. So I'm just checking. I'm moving my head. Again, that will help you stay focused. And then I'm coming back and I'm noticing how these words in this picture looks. So what's calling my attention more? Some of you will find that you can hold your attention on lots of things at once. I'm not so good at that. So what I'm really looking at, what my attention is really being drawn to, is the first word. So I'm noticing it's in the corner of the frame, and I can see the capital H and the E and the apostrophe and the S. And I can also feel a sensation in my throat, kind of feels like it's closing up on me, but I'm going to still remain and have my attention on the words here. So what I'm doing here is I'm befriending the thought first before I come down and process the feeling. So this is what I mean by titration. I'm not, when we do talk therapy or we're talking about it, it's like our whole experience, we're in it, and we can get stuck in it. So here, what we're doing here is we're befriending the thought, and then we're coming to befriend the feeling, but first with the thought. So I'm looking at this word here. I can see it. I can see that it's kind of got lines through it. I can see the shape of the S really wants to be seen. I can't really see the second word. I'm looking at the third word, and I just got like my old friend, this word, like this is a word that I was heavily strongly identified with myself. And then there's this picture of my own experience at netball training, where this girl, she laughed at me with her friend, saying about me, all she needs is glasses. So those words just broke me, right? So this is more thought. So I'm putting the words broke me. So I'm looking, I can see the word broke is in capital letters. Interestingly, I have another picture coming up. So this is, it is a little bit like Pandora's box sometimes. It's like, here we go. It's like opening a can of worms. There's lots of stuff here. Now I'm seeing a picture of the time that I spent $14 when my mum gave me a $20 note, and it was apparently meant to be used for emergencies, and I did the wrong thing. I asked myself if that was to mean something about me, I'm a bad girl. So put the words "I'm a bad girl" up there. So I can see the words are in capital letters, and I can see bad, it's like edgy writing. Okay, so you want to look for the detail here. So I can see that they're kind of in yellow and red, but I can also see the picture of my bedroom. I can see the cupboards. I can see the frame around the cupboards. I can see the desk behind the bed. I can see the floral and the frills on the bedspread. I can see the curtains. So what we're doing here is we're learning how to feel safe with memories, right? Because normally we block them out. But here, what we're doing here is we're integrating the experience so we feel safe with a part of us, right? Because these memories are a part of our experience. So we want to feel safe in every part of our experience. Otherwise, we repress them, and then emotionally, the trauma stays in the body, which keeps the nervous system stuck in a state of protection. So what we're doing is we're processing these pictures, these memories, so we can move out of a state of protection into a state of connection. So I can see mum's face, you know, she's got the finger pointing. I can still see the word bad, but not really. It's kind of fallen away. I can see a little bit of the B. So this is what happens the more that you look at it and like be mindful, curious about it. You know, a good question to ask is, if you came and had a look to see what I'm looking at, you wouldn't really be able to work out what kind of word it is. So the word bad has fallen away. Now I'm looking to see if there's anything left in this picture of me in the bedroom getting in trouble. You can see my sister's there. And then I just got better, like this idea that my sister's better than me. I'm worse. You know, what does it mean about me? I'm worse. Then I've got a picture of me. See how it's like got nothing to do with parenting and everything to do with my childhood.
Yeah.
So now I've got a picture of like the school hall. Both of my sisters were school you know, kind of school captains, not the school captain, but school captains. And then there's me, just, yeah, again, the word loser, like just loser. I can see, you know, it was like the 90s, everyone was doing that in the movies. So I can see that. Hey, Frankie, I'm in the middle of processing, but welcome. So yeah, I'm actually just looking at that, the finger and the thumb that creates the L. I can see the skin tone of that finger, really looking at the detail of that. I can see the lines in the knuckles, right? Now I'm also finding space. So space around the L, right? I can see there's space here, there's space up here, there's space over here, there's space here. Now I look back at the finger, it's not really there anymore. Okay, so space is like a resource. We call it a resource. It's a place of safety that you can come to. So if you're looking at a memory that is really hard to look at, you can actually just look at all this space over here and know that there's a picture here that you're not actually looking at, but it's helping you to create a sense of safety with this memory, right? So you don't have to repress it. So there's really nothing here. I can kind of see faint lines of this picture of getting in trouble by my mum. I'll just spend, you know, a little bit of time here with what's left. But it's really more of a sense that it's there. I can't really see anything. So I've processed the thoughts. Okay, now I've taken the top layer of Velcro away. I'm taking a deep breath in. And as I breathe out, I'm sliding into the body. So imagine you've got a mini you sliding down into your body. Start to find a safe place in the body. Notice where that is. For me, it's in the top of my leg. And from that safe place, I'm just starting to feel into what physical sensations are here in the body. So this is what healed my 22 years of depression. So I can feel like a gunkiness in my throat. See if there's anything else calling my attention. There's kind of a dropping in my chest, in my heart, kind of feels like heavy, like there's a kind of sadness, kind of like I wasn't seen. Right. And I can, so those are words that are stuck in my body. So I'm pulling these words up. If you have words that come or more pictures that come, we want to pull them up out of the body and then process the words and pictures, then come back to the body. And this, what that does is it processes and clears the emotional memory in your body. So the words were, I'm not seen. So looking at those words, they're in capitals. I can see I can see not. Can't really see seen. It's, you know, sometimes they fall away quite quickly. I can kind of see the S. And I'm saying things like to these words, thank you for arising. And when you do this, when you learn how to do this, say it verbally, because it's like, it'll help you stay focused. So I'm saying to these words, thank you for arising. See how I'm doing the opposite to shying away from it? I'm actually welcoming them. I'm saying, thank you for arising. You're welcome to stay as long as you like. I love you. I'm so glad you're here. You can express yourself just as you like. Now, there's not much left here, because the more that we allow these words to be here, these thoughts to be here, the more they feel seen and heard and acknowledged, and they start to fall away. I can just see the I. So I'm really just holding this compassionate place for this eye. I can see it's one of those eyes. It has the lines on the top and the bottom. And now it's kind of fallen away. So that's gone. So I've processed the top layer, which is the thoughts. Now I'm going to take a deep breath, come to the body. Now, typically speaking, generally speaking, what happens is the more words and pictures we pull out, when we come back to the body, there's really less feelings here. But I can still feel this sensation here and here. So when you have two sensations, you want to notice what's calling your attention more. It's kind of joined into the one. In here, it feels hard. So we want to go with the feelings, right? These are all very common concepts, but how do we go with a feeling? Well, if it's hard, we want to see if we can make it harder just by looking at it. Now, typically, again speaking, what happens is the more we give a feeling full permission to express itself as it needs to, it starts to soften and disintegrate. Now it has softened. Now I'm finding the space around the sensation. So I can feel that this sensation kind of goes, it's there, it's also in my throat. Now all up here, there's no sensation. So see again, I'm using the resource, which is space. So this will help you feel safe. You've got a feeling here. I've got a feeling that goes from here to here, but there's space all around that. Now, what you can do is just ask the sensation if it wants to move into the space. See, again, we normally resist a feeling. We're like, get it out of my body. Here, we're actually doing the opposite, right? So it's like, okay, I'm just giving it permission to see if it wants to move into the space. Quite naturally, it's starting to move, dance, feel a little bit more lighter, joyful even, because I've given it the space. Now I can feel it's kind of circling through here. It's got a real sense of playfulness to it. It's moving down into my stomach. There's a real kind of excitable energy now. It's going into my legs. There's a sense of aliveness, and like this part of me is being seen and welcomed, acknowledged, loved, appreciated. So now what I'm doing is I'm handing over my whole body for this sensation to express itself as it wants to. So I'm watching it, I'm noticing it. I'm staying curious with how it feels to have this sensation move through in the way that it wants. Now there's still more in my throat and chest. So this is when we start bringing in the supporting and inquiring skills. So this is when we start asking questions. Or we could ask, there's a couple of things we could do here. So I'm just going to ask it, what does it want? What does this sensation want? What does this feeling want? It wants space, wants to be heard, wants to be loved. I just heard the words, I'm here with you. So this is one way that we can offer a sense of love and compassion for these feelings. So if you can see these feelings as little children that just want to be, these are the parts of us that were abandoned, that we abandoned because in those moments we didn't feel safe and we didn't feel loved. So this is a process of reparenting. How can we offer a sense of love and compassion to those parts of us that felt abandoned in those moments of trauma? And it feels, softer. There's still a little bit more here in my throat, so I'm just going to tune in, check in to see what question might be good. So this is a little bit of, just have a go, have a try, see what question, and you'll learn all the different questions you can ask in the mining section. What does it want? It's like it wants to speak out, wants to speak clearly. It wants to be heard. So if there was a message here, it's actually saying not necessarily to speak out, verbally so other people can hear me. It's actually listen to your own inner voice, to that quiet, in that quiet place inside of you. So listen to your own inner voice for you and only you, not necessarily out in the world. So feelings that stay either have a message or a purpose. So in this case, it has the purpose is to share that message. And often feelings will soften after that because they've done their job, they've delivered their message. And these feelings, really making me work hard here, but obviously for a great model for you guys. So there's still some more here in my throat. So I've just asked, what does it need? Okay, so I've just got this sense that it needs to come down to the ground, and I just got this heaviness. So generally, heavy feelings, we want to prop up. We want to be like, no, let's prop ourselves up. Let's be positive. Let's get on with things. Actually, no. Any heavy sensations, you want to go with it. So how heavy can you make your body? Noticing how it feels to have that stability of the ground. And there's a deep sense of relaxation in my legs. I'm just checking because this is taking longer than I anticipated, but there is more. So I'm just going to go to my throat. And before you guys think that this is too hard, this is longer than I normally would practice, but there's obviously more here to do. So it's in my throat. It feels like a tickle now, so it's not this kind of murkiness. And I'm just giving it space in my head for this sensation to move into my head, so it has space to express itself and move. And it just feels like it's a lightness. It's almost like it feels like it's making my mouth smile, like it's just bringing a sense of lightness. And that feels complete. So that was probably like 25 minutes. Did that go for that long? No? Not sure.
No.
But we are inviting you to do something like 10. Yeah. So that's an example. I wanted to talk you through what I was doing, and also do the thing, and tell you why I was doing the thing. So and hello, Frankie. How are you? So good to see you here. You're on mute there. Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Welcome.
Thank you.
So yeah, I was just in the middle of giving everyone an example of what it looks like to process and let go of your own thoughts and feelings. So, does anyone have any comments, questions, any reflections, insights?
I'm just really intrigued to try it because I have so much trouble visualizing things. And it's something that's come to my attention, I guess, this year with so much looking into myself and how autistic behaviors and everything present, and that idea of seeing in pictures. And we've had quite a few discussions about how people around me can see images in their mind, but I can't create an image. So yeah, I'm interested to try it and see how it works.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, me too. And some people can't see words and some people can't. It's interesting. Everyone that I have worked with have said that they can't see pictures and words. Sorry, I'm going to say that again. Everyone who said that they can't see words end up being able to see words. But if you can't see words, you can always work with the hearing. So the way we do that is, and so you can hear words, right? Yeah. So, and I don't want to overwhelm you guys too much with too many practical things, but to give you a bit of an intro to it, it could look like something like, let's just say the words are, I'm a failure. You can listen to those words as you breathe in. And then as you breathe out, you can listen to the sound of silence. Now, something like that, actually, Pen, would help you extend that space between the chatter as well. Yeah. It's like an active practice that can be lengthened. Yeah. And then the pictures, I think I'm not entirely sure, and I can't speak for everyone, but I do wonder that, like, I've had a lot of people say I just can't see anything, but imagining that you have a screen, or thinking about, if that doesn't work, just thinking about if you saw that on a piece of paper, what would it look like? And so you're looking for the detail, like colors, shapes, lines, formations, what's in the background, what's in the foreground, looking for the detail.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
these group, it's sorry.
Yeah, can't wait to try and see.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Yeah. And these calls are a great chance for everyone to practice with us as well. Yeah, so have a try, and I mean, it's you've got 4 months, so yeah, I I hope I haven't given too much information, but it's just exciting for me to share these tools. So have a go, and anytime you have questions, then come into the Facebook group in between the group call times. Any other questions or reflections?
I just I learned a while ago that like none of our behaviors, like everything's just sort of like a reaction to what our beliefs are. And it's just funny that like, I don't know, I just feel like I haven't applied that to my kids, and I've been taking them so personally in their behaviors. And just that little practice, like the example practice, like really that is what goes on in our minds, isn't it? You know, it doesn't have anything to do with the behavior or what you've just seen. It's all a lot of deeper stuff. Yeah.
Yes, it is. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Was it yesterday? I was, losing my temper or losing my patience with the kids because I just listened to my latest podcast episode, and it sounded really bad. It wasn't anything to do with the kids. It was that, that it wasn't done right, and I wasn't, and yeah, so we can apply that same boomerang question. So yeah, or we might think, if only my kids would stop doing that,
and I'll feel better.
Yeah, but it's like, what's here? Thoughts, feelings stemming from that belief, as you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually I'll say too, just around the punitive consequences, like this level of control that in the past I felt like I had to have with my kids, when I kind of stopped feeling like I had to be in control of everything that they were doing all the time and ensuring that they were behaving, I realized, similar to what perhaps you're experiencing now, Lan, is that in their own time, they do come back around to do the thing I've asked. Like in the past, I would have been like, no, you are doing that right now. Like you have to do that right now. But when you just give them a little bit more leeway and like control over the situation, they tend to come around and do it when they're ready, because they're probably just in the middle of something.
Yeah.
And we don't really like being told what to do when we're in the middle of something either.
And I think like, I always think my mum was like a really good mum, and she was, but I didn't, she loved us and like she did everything for us, and like we, never went without and whatnot. But some of the things that I repeat like from her parenting, I hated. And then I see my kids hating that, and it's just like my automatic go-to. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah, so with this course, we're hoping to help you bring a bit more awareness to what you're saying, what you're doing, and but then also not beating ourselves up about it either. Like,
no, but that's it. I think it's like we do need to, like, I do need to sort of remain focused on because when you just sort of go back into autopilot,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not, haven't been parenting the way I wanted to.
Yeah, yeah. And I always like that idea that we fall out of balance to find our balance. It's like we lose our balance to find our balance. So we're, we're not always going to be in this perfect place. And then, the value of, finding ourselves in this rut or, this shitty pattern that we're in, or it's a great kind of motivator to, okay, we can change something here. Beautiful. Frankie, would you like to jump in and introduce yourself?
Sure. Excuse the froggy throat. I'm coming down with the 600th cold for the winter. I'm Frankie. I have 2 girls. Used to be a school teacher. I was an art teacher. Had family later in life, and I'm not sure why. Well, I'm sure, no, life was fun. Life was great. Lots of travel, lots of everything. Always knew I wanted to have a family. So I think maybe late 30s, had my first, and just, assume like society tells you that you'll take a few weeks off and jump back into work and, everything will be bliss. And wasn't quite that way. I had Florence, and I think I had, like, on reflection, because she's 6 now, I had a pretty stressful pregnancy, but like nothing medical. It was society and my conflict with what society expected of me, and me being a very strong, opinionated woman. I found it really, really hard and challenging to navigate that. And I think that caused me a lot of stress. So as we're learning about stress and, trauma and everything, I think that's all been internalized. And so anyway, had Florence, had her on the doorstep of the hospital, because on top of being stressed out about society and all their expectations of me, I hated hospitals and doctors and needles and all the things that you have to do when you get pregnant and have babies. But it was a fabulous birth. Everything went great. Then I forgot, after I got through that massive hurdle that was in my head, that, how am I going to have this baby and how am I going to have any control over having this baby my way? I had to then take a baby home. And I took my baby home, and she was beautiful, but everything that was textbook wasn't Florence. She didn't sleep. She didn't sleep. She was a good feeder, but, wouldn't go in the car, wouldn't go in the pram, just, she was attached to me 24/7. On top of that, woke, every 40 minutes, day and night for 3 years. So I was just depleted, pretty broken. And then went and had another baby, which was great because I always wanted, a big family, but knew I couldn't just have one. And Lucy came along, who was much better and much more mellow and slept a little better, but was able to give me that comparison, I think, which was really helpful. And it taught me that it doesn't matter what you are or how you do things. Your kids, like, they are who they are from the moment they're conceived, I think. And it showed me that I didn't do anything different and come from the same parents, but one was light and one was, one was night and one was day. So that was good, but it was still a roller coaster of lack of sleep and all the rest of it. And then you're back into the world of COVID. So my little Klingon kids that were only just starting to creep away and getting a little bit of confidence just went straight back into their shell, and then we're locked inside for 2 years. So now I think the reason why I kind of had a lightning, universal throwing me a bone moment with you, Bronte, was that Florence has just started school, and it's just been, just awful. Just, it shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't be this stressful on me, on her. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way. Or, there's got to be some things out there that I can start helping her and helping me to make transitions easier or whatever it might be. So there's me in a nutshell. So I think I'm literally still living in survival mode since the birth of my first child. And I want to start not living in survival mode and us just having a better way to navigate tricky stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, beautiful. Thank you, Frankie.
Yeah.
I really kind of felt like I was with you along that journey of travel and late kids and COVID and school. And so really happy that you're here. And I said earlier, Frankie, that we really want these to be as practical as possible. So we can absolutely talk about, supporting Florence with school, with transitions, with separation anxiety, all of that. So I was a teacher. Oh, we've spoken about this, haven't we? Yeah, I was a teacher before I had kids and worked in special ed. So I've got lots of tricks up my sleeve around that kind of stuff as well. So
Awesome.
yeah,
Looking forward to it. Really am.
good.
Yeah.
Good. And don't feel like you guys need to wait to ask questions. So you don't have to wait for 2 weeks to ask questions. Just pop it in the Facebook group, and I'll either, like, one of us will come and do a live video, or just comment on your post.
Can I ask, guys, I'm in Bendigo. The rest of you in Bendigo, or are you elsewhere?
Yeah, so Chris is in Bendigo, Penny and Locke are in Bendigo, Alana's in Melbourne, is that right?
Okay.
I live in Queensland for the last almost 4 years now.
Oh yeah. I thought you moved back for some reason, but yeah.
I did. Long story.
Okay.
Part of like me being able to deal with our kids a bit better. It was affecting our relationship. Both my partner and I, our eldest, were from previous relationships.
Yep.
And just throw that whole like step parenting and blended family dynamic in. And my son's huge emotions and like a lot of blatant defiance and destruction and things like that, for my partner and my relationship, that was it was really being affected. So that's part of the reason why I'm here.
As in the course, or up?
Well, both.
Yeah.
We came back and like committed to figuring this out and helping the kids and helping each other and like looking after ourselves. But part and parcel of that is like I need better tools as well to help my eldest, specifically, and then obviously my 2 youngest. I've got a almost 2-year-old and a 6-month-old as well, but like they all follow suit. So my toddler doesn't listen. I mean, not what toddler does listen, but they all do similar behaviors and things like that. So I need to sort of get a handle on this.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And the more that you do kind of realize and process your own stuff, the more level of control, not power over control, but control of the situation you can have. You can be like, right, I have thoughts and feelings coming up right now, and I can also put in a boundary and say, okay, this is what's happening, and then we can hold the space for the reaction and the response that will come because of that boundary.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Very good. Cool. All right, so Penny and Locke, I'm checking in with you because I know you've got to be up at 4 a.m. So my plan was just to finish with, getting clear on what your intentions are for this course. What do you want to get the most out of this course? Why did you join? Why are you here? So that can be something that I'm just steering more towards you two right now. Do you feel like, would you like to just do a verbal on that so you guys can go to bed, or are you feeling okay to go till 9:30?
I'll make it till 9:30. We can do it. Yeah.
Cool. All right, awesome. All right, so guys, take the time. You might even like to get Spotify out and put your favorite tune on, grab some pen and paper, and just start to have a bit of a play and start to dream. What are your intentions here? What would your relationship look like with your child or your children that you might be struggling with? How do you want to feel within yourself as a parent? Yeah, just take the time to do some journaling now, just so you're clear on why you're actually here and what you want to get the most out of here. I'll give you one more minute there to finish off. What a powerful, it's always a powerful date to start a course, but the 19th of the 9th, 2022, it's pretty good. Alrighty, so feel free to use this space. I find verbalizing intentions can kind of solidify it a little bit more. It can help you get a little bit more clearer mentally and energetically. So yeah, feel free to share this space at, might I say, 9:19 on the 19th of the 9th. Nothing like endings of what parenting has been and then creating anew.
That's it. Yeah, I'm happy to go first.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to actually start with the last thing I wrote because I realized it got deeper and deeper as a few thoughts were coming to mind. But the last one was to heal, and that came up loud and clear at the end. Having this autism diagnosis, and I spent so much of this year learning about myself and questioning everything and learning who I really am. Gosh, I haven't even scratched the surface. But yeah, this is going to help a lot with that. And the second most important, the second last one, was to be able to give Locke the space to experience his feelings. And then to continue to grow in my ability to hold space with the girls. I think it's already something I've worked really hard at, and I'm pretty comfortable with that. But there's obviously still some very specific triggers that just get me, and I want to work out what they are and why they're there, and work on that. But yeah, just become more aware of myself, my feelings, my interactions with people around me, and yeah, get to the heart of it.
Thank you, Pen.
No worries.
I wrote, I want to feel respected in my home as a parent. I want to better understand my children and their needs, to stop destructive behaviour and create a calmer environment in my home, find harmony in my home, and to heal so they don't have to.
Thank you, Lan.
Go next. Oh, how many is in the group? I don't even know because I got in late.
There's about, I think there's 13 of you, so 16 of us altogether.
Cool. All right. Yeah, I know I came in late, so I probably don't have the same language that you guys are working on, but it all seems to click in with what I'm hearing. So the first thing I actually wrote was to feel safe with like people experiencing similar challenges, because I find one of the things that I've got to heal from is that I feel like I've got to speak a volume of encyclopedias before I can get on a similar wavelength with a lot of other people who might not have kids that are experiencing challenging behaviours, or you know, I like to classify Florence as highly sensitive, because if I got a diagnosis, she'd be on the spectrum somewhere. So that was surprising that came up first, actually, for me, just having a safe environment to be just on an even keel with people. The next one I had was process my own experiences. So after coming in halfway with you doing whatever that was that you're doing, I was there with you for like within 3 seconds. So yeah, process my own experiences so they have less impact on my decisions, because I've realised over the last 6 years that there's so many things I don't do because of whatever is happening internally. Yeah, and I'm not even sure what that is. Help my anxiety, which is directly linked with Florence. Help understand Florence's separation anxiety and have better support for her and the people who are close to her. Have tools to share. So that was my last one that I wrote down. But then I circled right back again, and it was in big, bold, you know, words. I need to feel seen and heard, because it feels like in the whole journey with her, just everybody, I don't even know how to explain it, but yeah, you would speak your experience with your own daughter and everybody would just say, oh, she'll be fine. And she's not. It's heartbreaking. So I think, yeah, it might be more my journey than hers, I'm not sure, but it's the big one for me.
Yes. Yeah. I'm with you, Frankie. And I agree with you. It is our journey. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's surprised me the last, probably just over the winter, I've just been trapped to get inside, just how much I realise it's got to do with me. Then I think, you know, the journey to motherhood, it's a double thing, isn't it? Double-edged sword, because you wouldn't probably experience this if you didn't word to mother.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's the biggest.
That's-
It's the biggest journey. I haven't found anything more triggering.
no, exactly. You just think, yeah, and I think I found that having kids later in life, I thought I had so much of it sorted, and then it's all opened again. So, yeah.
Yep. I'm really happy to offer these tools for you, Frankie. Yeah. So to support you on your process of healing. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And yeah, you're actually right on. We were talking about this being a safe space to be seen and heard when you weren't on the call. So lovely. And Chrissy, would you like to use the chat box, or are you quite happy with your own journaling there of getting clear on your own intentions for your time in the course? And just while Chrissy does that, you know, Frankie's sharing is such a beautiful example of what's available in this safe space. So I'm not sure if you know, Frankie, but my book is called "It's Okay to Cry." so, so crying and everything, you know, bliss, ecstasy, even horror, terror. I've experienced that. That's all welcome here. We just talked a little bit about like, you know, our guidelines here are not being aggressive towards others and practicing a sense of compassion and non-judgment for ourselves and others, but the rest is all welcome. We also talked about not giving advice to people who haven't asked for it as well, because that can like kill the space for us to find our own answers, which we generally we have within us when we do have someone to just hold the space and listen. And at the same time, we have really practical steps in here that will guide you. Thanks, Chrissy. So just want to be able to help my son deal with his severe anxiety and depression, and for myself to deal with my emotions. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Chrissy. I'm here for you, here with you, and this is why this course is, I think it's brilliant already, because it's multi-pronged. So we're supporting your children and we're supporting you as well. That's where change can happen. All right, lovelies, it's been such a blessing to spend. Oh,
Yeah.
look.
Yeah.
I didn't forget about you. I just thought you were choosing not to go.
No, that's right. Mine's probably just about finding the ability or understanding ways that I can be there for my children when I don't feel at the time like I can, to be able to meet needs when I'm completely depleted, and then and to process those feelings and to just learn how to actually do that. Yeah, and then to also just be able to do that as a team with Penny, like to not just necessarily be like, to be able to support each other, as opposed to just not knowing how and just feeling like I can listen, but is that actually, you know, any way of being supportive?
Yeah, beautiful. This will be really powerful that you guys can do together. And one thing that just came to mind was that your processing can happen in a split second, you know, with the chaos happening around you. and it also can look like what you just watched me do before. So what I call it formal practice and informal practice. So you might have a thing that's happened that day, and you're going to spend 10 minutes, you know, when the kids are down, and you're going to process that. But also you can this has just been so profound for me to be able to process the thoughts and feelings in the moment. And then you guys, because you're doing it together, you know, you might just like to verbalize your own processing. So it might be look like something like, I can feel a tightening in my chest right now. I can feel the size of that tightness in my chest right now. I can feel there's space where there's no tightness in my head right now. I'm saying thank you to that tightness for being there. And this is the value of what we're showing you in KI for Parents and Children, is that just you modeling that and verbalizing that with your child, they're absorbing that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that idea. Yeah.
They're growing up knowing, they're learning, you know, without you doing anything.
And I love, sorry to interrupt, but I do love, not only are they learning, but if Locke's verbalizing that, then I'm more aware of what's going on for him, and I'm less likely to jump at his reaction, because I can hear what's going on, and vice versa, probably. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. And you might, you know, I've had moments when I was coming off antidepressants and things were pretty intense for me. I would have to say things like to Lee, my husband, I have thoughts and feelings right now, I can't answer you. It's just getting very authentic with your experience. Like, I can't, if I was to answer your question, I would be denying the thoughts and feelings that are coming up right now. So it's like, you know, your own experience is becoming, you know, same with you, Chrissy. If you're having a conversation with Dylan that is just too much right now, part of putting in a boundary can be, I can't answer that right now, you know, because what we want to do is process the thoughts and feelings that are coming up for ourselves first and foremost, and then we can come back to our people from that emotional availability rather than that reaction. All right, lovelies. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been such a pleasure. I've enjoyed every bit, and feel free to use the Facebook group as much or as little as you would like. Enjoy module 1, and I will be here in 2 weeks' time at the same time, and that's our regular call. So I'm really hoping that you all can join me on that. And in the meantime, if you have any questions, then just use the Facebook group. Thank you, lovelies.
Thanks, Bronte.
Take care. Bye.